And now our continuing series on the greatest songs of all time. From 1967, The Beatles, Strawberry Fields Forever, written by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, produced by George Martin. The Rolling Stone magazine writes, Lennon often considered Strawberry Fields Forever his greatest accomplishment with the Beatles. The song, a surreal kaleidoscope of sound, was the first track recorded for the Sgt. Pepper sessions, although it was subsequently released as a single instead. The lyrics are a nostalgic look at Lennon's Liverpool childhood and an expression of his own pride. Lennon said, "The second line goes, 'No one I think is in my tree.' Well, what I was trying to say in that line is, nobody seems to be as hip as me. Therefore, I must be crazy or a genius." Strawberry Field was the name of a Salvation Army children's home just around the corner from where Lennon grew up in Liverpool. Now, the sessions and the songwriting came when the Beatles had just retired from touring. It was one of the most difficult periods of their career. It was during the We're More Popular Than Jesus controversy and the band's unintentional snubbing of Philippines First Lady Imelda Marcos. Lennon began writing the song when he was in Spain, working on the movie How I Won the War. Sound engineer at the Abbey Road Studios, Jeff Emmerich, remembered it as being, quote, "just a great, great song that was apparent from the first time John sang it for all of us, playing an acoustic guitar." The sessions began in Abbey Road Studio No. 2 on November 24th, 1966, on a 4-track. It took 45 hours to record, spread over 5 weeks. The band recorded 3 different versions of the song. They scrapped the first attempt at the recording. 4 days later, they reassembled to try a different arrangement. After hearing that version of the song, Lennon said he wanted to do something a little different. George Martin remembered that he'd wanted it as a gentle, dreaming song, but he said that it had come out too raucous. Martin said that John had asked him if he could write him a new lineup with the strings. Martin said he scored it out with 4 trumpets and 3 cellos, and that they recorded that, but they didn't like it. In December, another basic track was recorded using a mellotron, an electric guitar, a piano, backward cymbals, and a sword mandel, which was an Indian version of the zither. After reviewing the tapes of this session and the original, Lennon said he liked both versions. Martin had to break it to him that one score was faster and in a higher key, but Lennon said, "You can fix it, George." So George Martin and Jeff Emmerich took to the task. They joined the 2 takes together, using only a pair of scissors, 2 tape machines, and a vari-speed control. Time magazine hailed the song as the latest sample of the Beatles' astonishing inventiveness. Ian MacDonald wrote in Revolution in the Head that it shows expression of a high order. Few, if any, contemporary composers are capable of displaying feeling and fantasy so direct, spontaneous, and original. The story goes that Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys heard the single while he was underway with his legendary unfinished album, Smile. He heard the song on his car radio while he was driving, and he was so affected that he had to stop and listen to it all the way through. He commented that the Beatles had gotten there first. Our song spent 9 weeks on the charts, and for the first time since Love Me Do in 1962, a single by the Beatles failed to reach number 1 on the UK charts. It was held at number 2 by Engelbert Humperdinck's Release Me. McCartney said at the time he wasn't upset because Humperdinck's song was a completely different type of thing. Ringo later said that it was a relief because it took the pressure off. In the U.S., it reached a top spot of number 8. Undoubtedly, one of the greatest songs of all time. From 1967, The Beatles.